welcome back to the Constitutionalist Podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the premier podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Welcome back in. Here we are. We're doing it. We're doing an episode. Yes, it's late, and I understand. It is my fault. But a lot of work, and it was my birthday last week, and quite frankly, I didn't want to do anything. Welcome back in. This is the show. I'm sorry. I am actively looking at C Plus Comedy's email. YouTube. I'm looking at the email, and I'll tell you this. I don't like to look at reviews for any show, for any movie. I'm talking period. I don't like to read anything because I just think people are too obsessed about what other people think about something else. And I'll never really give my full opinion on something unless it moved me in such a way that I loved it so much or I hated it so much. However, I open up the email as the theme song is going, and the Jurassic World Rebirth reviews are coming in. And again, usually, I don't click on those and I don't go through links, but I thought, you know what? I want to see what the critics of the Rap and Variety and THR are saying, and Deadline. And I am so surprised. I am so surprised. When was I'll look at Jurassic World. I'll look at Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park. Which a movie I just rewatched for some podcast, not my, obviously, but not my podcast, but to watch in conjunction because they were discussing it. Jurassic Park's great, and then the next few were all kind of bland. The Lost World and Jurassic Park 3, although The Lost World is probably the one I've seen the most. And then Jurassic World was, I think it was a very fine return to that world. But there's a problem with modern day reboots and reissues of movies and TV shows, and that they just make everything shiny, but it still has the same problems. And then Fallen Kingdom and Dominion were just, boy, oh boy. It was great to see Bryce Dallas Howard. Oof. Ooh, sweet Lord in heaven. Again, I'm a fan of that movie she just did called, what was it called? What was that? No, that wasn't Bryce Dallas Howard. Yeah, it was Deep Cover. Deep Cover is a funny movie. I just wish it actually had like improv people in it. It's a funny movie though. I can't believe it. Good job. Speaking of movies, I saw 2 movies last week. I saw Elio, which is the latest Pixar film. Elio starring Adrian Molina. Nope, excuse me. That is the story writers. Starring Jonas Kibreb and Zoe Saldana. Remy Edgerly. Why am I naming people? Brad Garrett, Jamila Ross in there. This movie is notorious for having the worst Pixar opening week in years since the last time it happened, which I believe was Elemental. Elemental also came back and rebounded and made $500 million. So who knows what's going to happen? This is since the pandemic. When did Elemental come out? 2023. Oof, Jesus. So that was 2 years out. People still didn't go. But then you have movies like Inside Out 2, which did so well. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I hate Turning Red. I hate it with a passion. Oh my God. And it sucks because I want to support the people of color at Pixar. But Turning Red stinks. I hate it. Now, I'll watch Turning Red more than I'll ever watch Luca. I despise Luca. Oh, I despise Luca so much. And Onward sucks. And those are the Pixar movies I don't like. I'd rather watch Cars 2 more than fucking Luca. And The Good Dinosaur is just boring. Anyway, and Elio was just they tried to recapture that same magic. This is one of the issues I have with Pixar. I feel like Elio was an overcooked movie. And while you can eat a well done burger, I kind of want something that's medium. I want not kind of. I want a medium burger, medium rare. Excuse me, medium rare. I don't want brown. I don't want a brown burger. I want a medium rare burger. And for Pixar, I guess that would refer to I want something that's not so tightly predicted. In the same way, I really like. I'll name another Disney movie. I like Zootopia a lot. I love Zootopia because it did take appropriate twists and turns and create character development that if you were in third person looking at it as a whole, you could pick and choose the moments where you can go, oh well, I see that coming. But if you lose yourself in the movie, then you can, like me, get lost and be tricked by that initial twist where they say the mayor lion who could be put up as the villain isn't the villain, and then surprise surprise it's his sheep assistant. It's so with this movie it felt like it was just too many hands in the pot, and things were just overthought. And by that I mean there's 3 directors. One was a directing team, and then the other was a person who was I guess billed as the co-director. But it's just too many people. It's just too many people in there. All in all, though, I enjoyed it. Let's stop talking about how good a movie looks, how good a Pixar movie looks. Let's talk about the cast that they had at hand. And boy, oh boy, Zoe Saldana, Brad Garrett, and Jamila Jamil were the only people I could pick out of the lineup. Otherwise, and I'm not talking about recognizability. I'm talking about their characters. Otherwise, everybody blended in together. I see that Atsuko Akusuka was here. I didn't know who she was. I could not. If you told me Niles, an alien ambassador, I would have said, great. Congratulations. Oh, and also Kate Mulgrew was did a line, but other than that, man. But it was nice to see a movie like this, and also this. 2 things. I think about this ever since WALL-E came out. I think about this all the time. Pixar is not afraid to take a main character, a very shiny. All of their characters are just these obviously CGI created characters, but in every cartoon movie you expect to be able to see them. They have every limb. They have nothing on them that would make selling a toy hard. But you look at a movie like WALL-E, and Eva's got the entire time this slick, sleek, futuristic robot who is supposed to be minimalist, has this blue thing on her side that connects her head and her hip when she goes into stasis mode, and then we look at who else is it? Buzz Lightyear? There's one movie. Anyway, when you look at Elio, the entire time this kid's got an eye patch on for half the movie. The entire time for half the movie. Yes, for half the movie he's got an eye patch on. When in Up, when the old man loses or throws one of his tennis balls, they're just gone. It's crazy. I think that's great. Damage your characters. And then I saw 28 years later. I mentioned this in the late night lately I just recorded. I went in this movie not wanting to know anything, because that's how I went into 28 weeks later and 28 days later. But 28 years later is a follow-up to those movies, and Danny Boyle came back, Alex Garland came back, and it's interesting to see this film. I don't know if I mentioned this explicitly, but I tend to only I don't want to watch anything that doesn't have people of color in it. And this movie, because I went in knowing nothing, there's zero people of color in it. And look, I understand. Yes, they are locked in on this Irish land or whatever, this Irish island. I don't give a hoot. Scottish Highlands. They're locked in the Scottish Highlands. The fact of the matter is, this movie exists in a world with zombies. I guess they don't call them that, but zombies. You could have had one person of color there. Just pop up. Be like, oh, you. In fact, they have one. There's a character at some point that is not on the island. There's two characters that are on the island, but there's one character who's not even from Scotland, who could have been a person of color. Just saying, didn't have to be a Swedish person. I'm just saying, like there's so many characters in here that, come on. Anyway, there's one point in the movie. I want to say this more about Elio. In Elio, I know it's the summer. I did not when I bought my ticket, there were, I'll say, less than 10 people in the theater, and they were all, again, I like to sit in one of the first three rows, preferably two or three, but they were all up in the back. I get there on time. As soon as I walk in, they're on the AMC stuff, and I sit down and I'm like, thank goodness, oh my goodness. But I walk in and there's the entire third row is taken up by children and a couple of adults, and I just think to myself, fuck. So I sit in my seat in the second row on the aisle, and I put my book back down, my helmet, because I biked there, obviously. Sweating bullets. It's just drenched. Ugh. It was worse when I saw it 28 years later. It was so much worse because I was later in the day. At least Elio was in the morning. But I take my stuff off, and I'm just thinking, oh, they're going to talk the entire time. No, they didn't. They were all there. I mean, there were moments where children were like, can I go get more popcorn? Or can I get something else to drink? Or I have to go to the bathroom. But they were more quiet than the people behind me when I saw Dead Reckoning, the people behind me when I saw Top Gun Maverick, every other children's movie, quite frankly. And I can say this, and I can't say the same thing about 28 years later. This fucking couple who was in my row, again, those tickets were not purchased when I bought my tickets. But this fucking couple would not shut up. They were whispering the entire time. And then the woman was it was a couple, so it was a man and woman, as it should be. I'm laughing. There's a man and a woman, and the woman was pregnant, and there's a scene with a birth in this movie, and she would not shut the fuck up during that entire goddamn. It's a fantasy movie. I'm leading to what the birth was, but and it's not what you think. It's not what you think. It's the opposite of that. But shut up. Just stop talking. And they're whispering the entire time. Oh my goodness. It was so annoying. And they were too far for me to for them to hear me go, which I did multiple times. But oh my goodness. Also, somebody sneezed 7 times. I counted after the third time I started counting. and I'm not saying it's 7 times out of the movie. I'm saying 7 times in a row. And he was not covering his mouth. It was disgusting. It was a and he kept going and going. Oh my gosh. And those people were talking too. Ugh. I hate seeing movies with people. This is why I like to go. If a movie theater opened at 10 a.m., I'm going to go at 10 a.m. Unfortunately, fortunately during the summer months, that happens more often because they want to get in more people in the movie theaters. Unfortunately, the bigger movies don't often play at 10. Well, not the big. Excuse me. They spread out times so much that it would be impossible that every movie play at 10 a.m. Tomorrow I'll be seeing F1. but it'll be at 12:30. Versus on Thursday, there's one at 10 a.m., but that's to make room for Jurassic World Rebirth. At that point, I'll be seeing Megan. At what time? Probably 10:30. See, that's the only time, it opens up. Anyway, yeah, the 28 years later, and you know what? I'll say this. I know I just complained about how they make movies. Movies look better and they're much more shiny when they're remakes or reboots or whatever like that. 28 years needed it. It's a better looking movie than go back and watch 28 Days Later. 28 Days Later, it looks like something that was, and it probably was shot on a handheld camera and then edited in the trial version of Adobe Premiere. I do like all of those movies. I think 28 Weeks Later is my favorite one out of all of them. 28 Weeks Later was, although when I was rewatching 28 Weeks Later last week, I think it's on Hulu at this point right now. The sound mixing is abhorrent. It is so bad. It is, the action will be boom, bam, bombastic. And then you get to the dialogue and it's, why don't you ever just trust me? We should be in this together. It's so stupid. Anyway, I'm interested in seeing what they do for the next. I think they're supposed to be doing 2 more, but I know Nia DaCosta is lined up for the next one, a black director. So I'm interested in seeing what they do for these next ones. All right. Speaking of Elio, this comes from the Hollywood Reporter. This comes from Pamela McClintock. The spotlight on Pixar intensifies as Elio becomes the latest original pick to crash land. They debuted to $20.8 million domestically and $14 million overseas. I can't tell you why Elio at this point has not even. Let me see the box office results. I'm not somebody who chases box office results, but I can't tell you why worldwide at this point it's 72 million. Maybe people are waiting for July 4th to have some type of thing like that, to have something to watch over that. But I can't imagine, because when you see something like Elio, it makes me interested because it's something different and it's something new that Pixar is doing, as opposed to the same stuff that they've done over and over again. I understand that people really like Toy Story and Inside Out. I like Cars. I know a lot of people don't like Cars. I like Cars. But wouldn't you want something new from the only studio in Hollywood that for years would only do something new? Up until Toy Story 3, they would only do something new. The Incredibles, Cars, Ratatouille, WALL-E, Up. That's all the movies we got. Not even all. Monsters Inc., Finding Nemo. Those are the movies we got in between Toy Story 2 and Toy Story 3. And then after Cars 2, which came after Toy Story 3, they gave us Brave. They gave us Monsters University. They gave us Inside Out. They gave us A Good Dinosaur. They gave us Finding Dory. But wouldn't that be something that you'd want? And I'm not just saying like it's a quality thing, because even The Good Dinosaur is better than some animated movies that I've seen in the past 10 years. Yeah, it's stale, but it's still something different, Coco is so good. Coco is fantastic. And even a lot of their sequels are just out of this world, including The Incredibles 2 and Toy Story 4. And yes, I hate Luca, but I can recognize that it is a well-handled and well-crafted movie. Outside of the looks, outside of all the other shit, I still don't like it. I hate it. But it's still a well-crafted movie. So why is Elio the course correction they need? Or are they going to have to rely on doing more franchises, more sequels. Pete Docker, who was in charge of Pixar, he was on not Pete Holmes, Mike Birbiglia. They're the same comedian. He was on Mike Birbiglia's podcast last week talking about just Pixar as a whole. And I've read Ed Catmull's book, Creativity Inc. And I think Pixar, for some of the failings that they have, including, just the hive mind, or what are the brain trust they call themselves. I hate that shit. But some of the failings that they have, and the overcooking of Elio, I do think that they are still probably one of the best studios out there. I hate ranking, but top 3, come on, they have to be. So what's going on with this bout of not doing well? Elio is the 6th original Pixar film released since 2020, after Onward, Luca, Soul, Turning Red, and Elemental. Pixar's upcoming slate includes the original film Hoppers and Toy Story 5, which are both set to come out in 2026. Then we're going to get a movie it's an original called Gato, which I assume is about a cat, and in 2027, and Incredibles 3 and Coco 2. Of Pixar's 30 theatrical releases, only 9 have been sequels and installments, and 1, Lightyear, is a prequel that hardly makes Pixar a sequel machine, even at its own peril. They're not known to, even, again, prior to Toy Story 2 and even prior to Toy Story 3, they were not known to do sequels. And then they eventually decided to start doing those. Pixar president Jim Morris in 2016 said that after 2018's Toy Story 4 and Incredibles 2 in 2019, both earned $1 billion. He said that the studio would return to its roots, excluding Inside Out 2. And yes, we've gotten some great performing and great critically acclaimed originals, but those have not done what those previous numbers have done. Walt Disney Animation Studios has done 4 original films in recent years: Encanto, Raya and the Last Dragon, Strange World, and Wish. 2 of those movies stink. I'll let you decide if it's Strange World and Wish. Oh, Wish stinks. Oh my God, I wish I never saw Wish. Rip it from my brain. I'd rather watch Turning Red. Seriously, Wish stinks. There are other companies that rely on the sequels and everything. Despicable Me, Illuminations, Despicable Me, and then Sing and Secret Life of Pets. They have all got franchises. Now there's going to be Mario franchise, essentially. DreamWorks also has Shrek, How to Train Your Dragon, and Kung Fu Panda. If we do How to Train Your Dragon live action, what makes you think that Kung Fu Panda and Shrek aren't going to get a live action? I think if any of them, it's going to be Shrek. I think Kung Fu Panda will be very difficult to do live action. But how do we split these up? It's not even just like pandemic stuff anymore. Lilo and Stitch did really well. How Do You Train Your Dragon is, I would say, performing mightily. Even a Minecraft movie, which is aimed at families, just blew up, almost $1 billion. And then we have Super Mario Brothers, a movie, which did well over $1 billion. What is going on with these Pixar movies that people aren't exactly looking for? Is it the kids? Do we blame the kids? Is it the studio? Do we blame the studio? It's a creative idea that works, but in the end, what brings people to Pixar movies? And I think, when you look at it, in recent years, if you look at the early movies, Toy Story, Monsters Inc., and Finding Nemo, they all had these big casts, these incredible casts. But now, as we get deeper into their slate, it feels as though they're picking and choosing. When you go to Turning Red, we don't have the biggest casts. They have Sandra Oh, James Hong, I know Orion Lee, but are these people that scream, I'm going to go take my kids to see this movie? In the same way that Toy Story 4, I'll even go back to Toy Story 3. Toy Story 3 has, we have Tom Hanks and Don Rickles and Estelle. Like, we're going for them, more or less. Those people are dead now, except for Tom Hanks. I know the first time I felt like they were really slipping and really pulling for a cast was The Good Dinosaur. That's only because the cast was so small. All right, I have to move on. No one knows. All right, Variety, Michael Schneider. DirecTV will no longer offer satellite subscriptions for new customers as a trial run in some markets. This is big news. It was first reported by Cord Cutters News. Some zip codes with new customers, people signing up for DirecTV, are only given the option to purchase the company's streaming service, which DirecTV has basically turned into as satellite more or less has died off. A new note appears on DirecTV's website for customers attempting to sign up for the once standard satellite dish. It reads, DirecTV satellite is not currently available in all areas. Check your service address by entering the zip code of the address where you want DirecTV service. Want the same package without satellite? Switch to DirecTV streaming app now by select that option. Streaming is really just taking off. It seems to be the thing that people want. It seems to be the thing that's more reliable in that, I remember the whole joke about satellite was that there's issues when it rains and things of that nature. Remember the Hapa? The Hapa. You got to get the Hapa. Was that Dish? I don't remember. And that was supposed to be a take on their take on TiVo. It's, I when I saw this story, my immediate reaction was, well, this is only going to work on the coasts. This isn't going to be something that works in Middle America. It's not going to be something that works in Texas because they don't even have standard internet rates. Standard internet access for everybody. Even here in Atlanta, internet is not something that everybody has access to. I remember during the pandemic, reading so many stories on the New York Times about kids in schools in New York unable to just get internet access in their home, and they would have to. A lot of people in some even in some Middle America areas would have to go to their local libraries just to get work done, just to get schoolwork done. People don't have access all the time, and it makes sense to test this out right now, but it's a lofty ambition to say DirecTV is going to go all streaming in the next couple of years because the people that still use it, the satellite and the dish and all that stuff, probably don't have the gigabit access that I have with Google Fiber, as I mentioned before, or even they don't even want to try the Verizon Fios or the T-Mobile internet or any of that stuff, or even have the capacity to do so. Broadband is limited throughout this entire nation, this beautiful nation of ours. This test comes as DirecTV continues to expand in the streaming space, having launched a new fast streaming service dubbed My Free DirecTV in November. That offering includes at least 105 channels, according to DirecTV. Earlier this year, the company also launched My Sports streaming package with 40 channels as part of a move to what it calls genre packs, which are smaller collections of channels based on interests like news and sports and entertainment. You can get the DirecTV app on Amazon Fire TV or Roku or Apple TV or the company's own Gemini device. Between satellite and streaming, DirecTV is believed to currently have around 11 million subscribers. I think this is for people who want that cable-like feeling, but also just want to try out, but also are stuck on the streaming thing. When I click on, I'm in the DirecTV website right now. Let's see. And it says it's offering me signature packages. Stream the best in entertainment. This is what it's offering me, and it's $60. Oh, you get everything like you get HBO in this package. That's good. $60. PBS Kids, CNBC, USA. I don't see Disney. I see ABC. I see FX. I don't see Disney. I see Disney XD. I don't see Disney Channel. Interesting. And it really seems like it's pointing me to streaming. This showing the channels of zip code 30301. That is not my zip code. There's something wrong with this Google that does not give me the right zip code. Anyway, $0 for 5 days. You also get access to Peloton. What? Oh, you can access it on Peloton. Oh, okay. I was like, excuse me. I'll sign up for this today. Instead of me wasting $44 a month. This is the way it's going to go. But I think the pivot's a little bit too late. They should have been doing the streaming thing 5 or 6 years ago when YouTube TV was first around the corner, and Hulu with Live TV and Sling, because Sling was around 15 years ago, something like that. So they should have really started something like this a little bit earlier. Make it more accessible so that you don't have the bleeding that you and Spectrum have at this point. But with the access that DirecTV has for streaming things, including I think Spectrum just brought in Disney Plus into for free with ads, or Hulu for free with ads on its service for people. With this, yeah, you can also get My Entertainment packages, which includes Disney Plus, Max, and Hulu on DirecTV. With this, we're getting a sort of bundle feeling back, but I think people are not calling it bundling. I think companies are not referring to it as bundling, and for one, they want to make it seem like you have the choice to choose between all of this. And I'm going to bleed this into the next story. This comes from Variety. Cynthia Littleton. Prime Video leaders pitch the benefits of Amazon Channels Marketplace to content partners. Quotes, "It's not bundling, it's a la carte TV." This is what they want you to believe, that we're not bundling everything. Yes, you can get Disney Plus and Hulu with Live TV and Max, or with ESPN Plus. You can get all, you can bundle stuff up together. You can sometimes Prime Channels sells a Stars and AMC Plus bundle for like $7 a month for 3 months, or Paramount Plus with the Stars for $10 a month. Yes, that is a thing that can happen, but this is what they're saying: with Prime Video channels, and to some extent Apple TV, and to some extent Hulu, you can get whatever you want, access to whatever you want, just by paying us. So you can give us money for Max, HBO Max, and we'll take some of that money and we'll give it to them. But instead of leaving our app, which is Amazon Prime, you can also have access to this channel. That's a familiar thing. It's a channel. Click into it. Now you can watch The White Lotus. I was going to say Severance, and I thought, I don't know, that's not on there. And I've been seeing, and the only reason I'm picking this story because I've been seeing a lot of Prime Video channels stories that are disguised. They're ads disguised as stories. And this is not one of those, but I would click on to other websites and it would be like a 300, 400 word piece about Prime Video channels. Anyway, Albert Chang, VP head of Prime Video US and other top brass, delivered a series of pitches to content partners and prospective partners on the benefits of making their services available for sale via Prime Video subscriptions portal. It's a good portal. Like, I love the idea of having access to Paramount Plus via Prime Video channels, so I could go from watching The Accountant 2 over to watching Star Trek Strange New Worlds. The only caveat is, if you stop paying for Prime Video, then you're not going to have access to Paramount Plus or whatever thing you subscribe to. Another thing is, you can use your login that you have for Prime Video and go to Paramount Plus's app and also watch that stuff there. Because again, not everything is available via these channels, which stinks. A Prime Video Engage event was held in Culver City at Culver City Theater at Culver Thity. Culver Thity. Hey everybody, it's me, Mike Tyson. Sorry. The Culver Theater, that is adjacent to the Los Angeles area headquarters of Amazon MGM Studios, Amazon Music, Wondery, and other Amazon units. The Prime Video executives emphasize the amount of energy and investment that Amazon is pouring into R&D and experimentation with advertising technology, data, blah 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 blah. Again, I like this idea of a portal for one thing. I like to have everything. I don't know about that. I like to have things kind of grouped together. It's nice to go on Disney Plus and be able to see, the bear sitting there, but it's not something that I'm not necessarily going to watch a Hulu show on Disney Plus or a Hulu movie on Disney Plus. But people like this idea as well. When HBO Max returned, because they did leave after they had a little falling out in 2020, HBO Max returned in December 2022 to Amazon Prime channels. 2.3 million subscribers signed on to HBO Max over the next year. Activity that Amazon asserted would not likely have happened but for the HBO Max brand being available on Prime Video Channels Marketplace. Again, people are lazy and they just don't want to bounce off of things. In the 18 months since advertising was introduced to Amazon's proprietary Prime Video programming service, it now counts 130 million ad-supported viewers in the U.S. I'm one of them. Unfortunately, I don't want to give them more money. The service has seen 40% growth in total viewing hours, and in the metric that matters at Amazon, some 88% of those viewers actively shop at Amazon. That's not me. I think I only pay for Prime, and I just watch Prime Video. Unfortunately, I also use the Receipt app so I can scan stuff and get like $2 a month. And they used to give you a whole dollar for a receipt, and I used to buy like cat litter with that. Oh my God, to spend like $10 from that month on cat litter. Oh, it's amazing. It's working. All right, this last one comes from Variety, written by Todd Spangler. BBC throws up website paywall for U.S. viewers. This is something that's increasingly happening throughout the news universe, in that we are getting paywalls from the likes of CNN, now BBC. The Daily Beast has a paywall that is aggressive. Oh my gosh. For a website that I thought was an alt-right website, and I learned that it was not. But it's an aggressive one. The Verge has a paywall now. I assume it's doing fine. Vox's paywall has gotten so much more aggressive. Vox and The Verge are under the same umbrella, or I believe Vox owns The Verge. New Yorker, New York Magazine have always had a subscription. The Atlantic has one. I'm looking at the stuff that I read. This is where it's happened. I have no issue with paying for news. I subscribe to Wall Street Journal and New York Times, but there is a point where what are you getting me back? At least for the New York Times, I'm getting newsletters. For the Atlantic, I don't subscribe to it now, but for the Atlantic and New York Mag and the New Yorker, you're getting a physical thing. Sometimes a tote bag, oftentimes a magazine subscription. CNBC has one too. That's right, I forgot about that. But now the BBC is doing a first phase of a pay model for BBC.com in the US. You're still going to have access to select global breaking news stories, as well as BBC 4 Radio, Radio 4, and BBC World Service Radio live streams, BBC World Service languages sites, and a variety of free newsletters and podcasts. But for now, if you want access to everything, In the US, you'll have to sign up for $9 per month or $50 per year. You get unlimited access to BBC's news articles, features, stories, and the 24-hour live 24/7 stream of the BBC News channel. In the coming months, quote, as we test and learn from audience consumption, the BBC said, ad-free documentary series and films, including the full BBC Select documentary catalog, ad-free and early release podcasts, and exclusive newsletters and content will be included in the offer. This is, that's very enticing because that's what's happening with CNN. You also get access to their documentaries and stuff. And even though I was let go from CNN, my contract was not renewed. I still think that they are and Jake Tapper sucks. I still think that that's a good offering because CNN documentaries are handled pretty well in the same way that BBC's documentaries are. WAPO. I don't subscribe to WAPO. I never have. I never will. I'm never giving Jeff Bezos money again. It's a dynamic pay model, and as what they're calling it, they're trying to quote assess based on how they, U.S. readers, interact with their content, including how much they read and how long they stay. It's these. I want to pay people. I want people in the news to be paid, and not just because I'm one of them, but I want people in the news to be paid. I think people should get what they earn. But at the same time, it is unfortunate it has come to this because advertising and the lack of scale when it comes to pay has just stagnated. And it feels at points that things like outlets like CNN, outlets like BBC, outlets like Vox and The Verge and CNET and Axios, it feels like a lot of them are operating in the same way that NPR and PBS News are. And unfortunately for everyone involved, from NPR and PBS News to CNN and BBC, it's a huge detriment because they're just not getting the money or the support or the readers or viewers that they desperately need and deserve at this point in time. There's some great reporting going on at every single news site that I go to. New York Times, Wall Street Journal, except when they post racist shit. The Wall Street Journal, just straight up, the opinion section of the Wall Street Journal is just garbage. Anything that lets Tom Cotton, New York Times let Tom Cotton do something too. So, but there's just some great reporting going on, and oftentimes I'll read something from Axios or The Atlantic or New Yorker or the IndieWire. And I'll think, man, this is just a good piece of work. I really hope this person is A, getting paid, but B, getting the recognition they deserve. And yes, pay is recognition, but I think recognition's also, recognition. That's why when I read this, not often, every single time I read a story, I will say the person's name and I'll say where they're writing from. Now, BBC is commercially funded and operates separately from other BBC.com is commercially funded and operates separately from other BBC platforms in the UK. According to the company, the US pay model launch supports, quote, ongoing efforts to grow international commercial revenue that helps fund BBC's journalism and storytelling and delivers great value for the license fee. This is just going to be the future we're living in. It's going to be the future for the rest of time. We're going to see these bundling of TV services and everything's going to go subscription based. And it feels like we just don't. You can't really own news, but it just feels like we don't own anything. Think about it. When's the last time you bought music? I would love to support an artist, but buying music is not how we do it anymore. It's streaming the same album over and over again. And I don't know how to tell you this, but Bruce Springsteen put out Tracks 2. It's 83 tracks long. It's all unreleased music, or 74 of it is unreleased. But it's 83 tracks long. And on Friday, I was working, And for, I think, 3 hours straight, it's a 5-hour album. For 3 hours straight, I played I played track 2. I made it to song 58. And I said I have to listen to the rest of this later. No skipping around. I just press play and I let it go through. And I'm sitting in the computer. I'm typing, writing stories, doing research. I didn't stop once. And then, yeah. Anyway, this is just the world we're coming to now, and it's unfortunate that we're doing this. But support. Read. No good writers. All that stuff. Listen, if you like what you heard here, head to website, where you can see me talk to famous people sometimes. You can also go to youtube.com/C+comedy, where you can see a video version of this podcast, as well as the other podcasts I host, Late Night Lately, the Late Night Show, and LinkedIn Logs, the Jobs podcast. You can also watch the video versions of the interviews I do, called The Interviews. I know, I'm really good at this naming thing. Subscribe to those shows wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on social media, TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky, @C+Comedy. Me, @ChadBlackWhite. See you next time. Bye.